My name is James Talarico, running for the U.S. Senate here in Texas. I'm a current state representative, a Presbyterian seminarian, and a former middle school teacher. And I always joke that teaching middle school is the best preparation for politics. And in my 4 terms in the legislature, I have been fighting for our healthcare, I've been fighting for our public schools, and I've been fighting against corruption, particularly the billionaires who control our state government. And now I want to take those fights to our national capital to fight for healthcare, to fight for education, and to fight against the corruption that has taken over our federal government. And I'm really honored to be here with Lupe Votes because back in my first term in the state house, when we were seeing family separation in the first Trump administration, our office raised money for Lupe and the work that the organization does. So really excited to be talking to Lupe Votes today. Yeah, so important. We have a cost of living emergency in this state, and it is hurting communities across Texas, but particularly, as you mentioned, the Rio Grande Valley, where I've been multiple times already over the course of this campaign, because I want to make sure that folks in the valley, folks across South Texas, know that I'm going to be a senator for them. And my family is from South Texas. My mom grew up in Laredo, and my dad grew up in Corpus Christi. So that part of the state means a lot to me, and I know that this cost of living emergency is really hurting working people and working families in South Texas and in the Valley. And so I think we got to do a few things. One is I think we have to reverse the Trump tariffs, which are raising prices at the grocery store and hurting working families and their ability to put food on the table. I think we should be pausing all taxes on grocery products at the state level. I think the federal government should step in and temporarily pause those taxes until we can get a handle on this cost of living emergency. And I think we've got to start addressing some of the big structural aspects of the economy that are also raising costs for working families. In addition to groceries, things like housing, things like childcare, things like prescription drugs. These are also pricing more families out of the American dream, and it's something that our federal government should and must act on so that we can finally allow for working people to get ahead in this country. This is something that means a lot to me. We're actually going to be visiting the colonias during this campaign in the next few weeks because these are permanent communities, and we have to have a senator who's going to fight for these communities in the halls of power. We've got to partner with state and local governments to make sure that we can get some of these federal funds into the community for things like paving roads and drainage systems and lighting. These are the basic necessities that any community should have access to. And right now, colonias are not able to access those basic needs, those basic services. And I think federal funding in partnership with state and local funding sources can help, and we should remove some of the barriers that are preventing our colonias from being able to access those funds and being able to provide those basic services to their people. And so, we have to have a senator who's gonna focus on this and who's gonna fight for people in the valley, but particularly in our colonias, and that's something that I'm going to prioritize in the U.S. Senate. Yeah, I believe healthcare is a human right that shouldn't depend on how much money you make or what zip code you're born into. I was 28 years old when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And when I got out of the ICU, I went to Walgreens to pick up my first 30-day supply of insulin, and it cost me $684. And that's because Big Pharma has a monopoly on the insulin market. They drive up prices to maximize their own profit. And we have Texans with diabetes who are dying because of that greed. And so we've got to take on Big Pharma and the chokehold they have on our healthcare system. I proposed a few ideas. One is to allow every Texan and every American, regardless of their age, the opportunity to join Medicare so we can finally have universal coverage in this country. I also think we need to reverse the cuts made to the ACA, which are about to push 2 million Texans off their health insurance. And I think we can build on the work I started in the legislature, where I capped insulin copays at $25 per prescription. And I passed a bill to import cheaper prescription drugs from Canada, where they pay half what we pay here in the United States. And I think we could do that at the federal level. I think we could cap the price of life-saving medications, and we can start to import cheaper prescription drugs from Canada and elsewhere here to America. And I think if we do those things, we can finally guarantee healthcare as a human right to every single Texan. Yeah, so important. When I was a public school teacher, I taught on the west side of San Antonio, a historic Mexican American neighborhood, and I taught a lot of undocumented students. And those students and their families are being terrorized by ICE, and it's happening all over Texas, happening all over the country. I mean, ICE shot a mother in the face in Minnesota. ICE kidnapped a 5-year-old boy, Liam Ramos. ICE executed a man in broad daylight in front of our very eyes. And so it's time to tear down this secret police force and replace it with an agency that is actually going to focus on public safety for all of us, whether we are documented or undocumented. And so I would not vote for any of this new funding for ICE. That funding that you mentioned, where we saw the biggest increase for any law enforcement agency in American history, that money came right out of our healthcare. And so we need to take that money back and put it into our communities where it belongs. We have to impeach Secretary Kristi Noem. We've got to prosecute agents who've abused their power. And we must, I think, haul these masked men before Congress so the world can see their faces. I just want to thank you all for the work that you do. Again, we partnered with Lupe back in 2019, and we're proud to do so. And we want to partner with you all to win this seat in November because we have a moral imperative to win, so that we can fight for our people and fight for our values and fight for our freedoms in Washington, D.C. And so I'm just honored to be here and honored to be doing this work alongside all of you.